Guys, this is a dish that's going to blow your mind. It's going to be a family classic. It's like a keeper.
You'll need free-range Cumberland sausages, tagliatelle, flat leaf parsley, free-range eggs, and freshly grated parmesan.
We're going to do sausage meatball carbonara. It's a joy. It's one of the most exciting, delicious things, and it's so quick, it's painful. It takes literally the time it takes to cook the pasta. So, our timer will be the pasta. It takes 12 minutes to cook in fast boiling water. Season it with salt, very important. And then we're going to whack in 150 grams, which is that much. Let's talk about sausage. British Cumberland sausage. We're going to take 3 of them. Big old fat, beautiful boys. Look at those. And then pinch out roughly 6 little balls from each sausage. Give or take. If it's 5, it don't matter. I might get a bit excited because I am genuinely excited to cook this.
Making quality sausages into meatballs is a clever little shortcut because the sausage meat is already packed with flavour and raring to go.
A nice little optional extra is to crack your pepper to order, right? It's much more delicious. Of course, you can use pre-ground stuff, but let me help you make it the best that it can be. Right, put your hand over a pestle and mortar, bash the life out of it, crack it all, smash it all, grind it, pummel it, muddle it, right? There's perfume that comes out of this, which is incredible. And actually, when you have a really good carbonara in Rome, the black pepper is essential to the success of this dish, essential, right? So we're gonna just get my bowls and we're letting that cook. And I don't know why I'm dancing like this, but I'm looking somewhere for, Okay, so we've now got our little black pepper. I want to come here, I want to pour the black pepper over here like this, and I'm gonna put it onto a board like that. This smells completely different to regular pre-grated black pepper. If you look in here, that looks like what you buy, right? And that's more of the black outer husk. This is more of the white pepper. And then what we can do is just put our balls over the black pepper. Beautiful, right? Do you think that makes a difference? You should try it. Oh my Lord. This is gonna have a heat and a perfume like you just can't believe. And then just give them a little rub around. It's gonna be amazing. It won't be so hot that you can't handle it. No, 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 no. It's gonna be elegant. It's gonna have a kind of savouriness that's just phenomenal. Right, pan, little bit of oil. Don't need much.
Coating the meatballs in black pepper is a game changer that adds extra flavour fast.
So the art of the perfect carbonara, in my opinion, is the emulsification of the starchy cooking water, the fats that have rendered out of your meat, and egg. As you know, eggs cook at a very low temperature. And I'm just gonna take a small bunch of parsley, and stalks and all, by the way. The stalks, everyone throws them away. They're so sweet and delicious. Just roughly chop it, and then into our egg. And then we're gonna go 30 grams of parmesan. Around about that much. Whip the parsley, parmesan, and egg together. Simple as that. Back to my balls. So now, the pasta's done. One of the biggest problems in pasta is people put it in a colander. And that's a problem because all the water goes away and actually there's value in that water. So I'm just gonna show you a different technique. Turn the heat off, heat comes off, drag the pasta and some water. Very important. Immediately, that water is breaking the frying. We're no longer frying anymore. We're off the heat, no more heat. Then what we can do is just put a little bit of water in the eggs. And in we go. Now the eggs cook at such a low temperature. The last thing we want to do is have scrambled eggs. Absolutely, we do not want that. So we're going to move this around and see it's got thick, bit more water. So even a bit more water. See how much water we're putting in. And now, look, 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 it's changing. Look at that. Yes, yes. That's a carbonara, right? And it's as much about flavour as it is texture. And for texture to be gorgeous, it must be loose and elegant, like a lovely little silk scarf. So, a couple of little plates, and we are good to go. Get yourself some pasta. Oh. Look at these lovely meatballs, they're so good. Long stroke of Parmesan, just to finish off the story. And if I'm getting my way, just another little shake of the pepper. First of all, let's just go in for a straightforward meatball. So good. The hum of black pepper is just elegant, right? It's elegant, it's gentle, helped by the egg and the Parmesan. This is an absolute family classic, and if you can take in some of those little tips, they'll stay with you for life.
Delicious sausage carbonara, brilliantly easy, blow your mind food, made in minutes. Next up, my Papa al Pomodoro, a deliciously simple rustic soup that elevates humble store cupboard ingredients to the next level.
It's a soup, but probably not as some of us know it. It's a thick Tuscan bread soup.
Using tinned plum tomatoes, garlic, fresh basil, stale ciabatta, and Parmesan cheese for grating.
To savour and enjoy a hot steaming bowl of Papa Pomodoro, it's a joyous thing. So let's make it. It is the kind of ultimate quick and easy. The beginning of the flavour is with olive oil going in a pan. A tablespoon goes in, we put it on a medium heat, and then nice, fat, juicy cloves of garlic. So 4 of those. Peel the garlic cloves, and then finely slice the garlic. We'll slowly bring it to a gentle fry. Slicing them is important because if you chop them or if you crush them, it wouldn't be the same. I'm going to go to basil. You want a bunch of basil or 8 nice sprigs. And I love that process of like picking the delicate little leaves for sprinkling and then the stalks. Finely slice those. They're absolutely full of flavour. Into the pan it goes. I don't want colour on this garlic. I want it to be gentle and mild. I'm then going to tear in the basil. And you normally only put basil into a sauce when it's finished. But in a funny sort of way, we've started it, but it's nearly finished. I'm going to use 2 tins of really good tomatoes. It's worth paying, you know, a little bit extra for organic tomatoes because this dish is so cheap. So why not trade up? So the tin tomatoes go in. And you've got lovely big plum tomatoes. And then I'm going to fill up the tins with water here to get all that lovely flavour out. But also, we want to loosen this tomato sauce so that we're making a nice base for the bread, which is going to absorb it all. I'll turn the heat up now and use a little masher to just gently crush these tomatoes. And Papa means crushed, mashed. Papa Pomodoro to Italians is kind of like one of the first foods you give a child that you're kind of weaning, you know, but then teenagers and adults love it just as much. And I guess it's kind of like nostalgia. As this comes to a boil, let's get on to the next stage. We're taking our ciabatta out and tear the bread into it. And stale bread, even better. You can make this with fresh bread, but it's never the same. It is kind of nice, it's more creamy, but when you use dry bread, it's more savoury, it's more fulfilling, and the flavours feel just a bit bigger. This is really clean, wholesome, healthy, delicious food. Stir that in, and then let the movement of the blip, blip, blip sort it out. Just turn it right down, 5 minutes, and then I'll show you how to serve it up. Season that with a little sea salt, a little black pepper. Completely transformed. If you want to nick a few more basil leaves, you can just tear a few more through. And then, last but not least, 30, 40 grams of Parmesan. The Parmesan just helps prop up this soup, gives it a nice seasoning. And we're going to take this bowl and we're going to fill it up. Look at the consistency. It's absolutely joyful. There we go. A simple, glorious soup.
Finish your papa al pomodoro with a few final basil leaves and a drizzle of cold-pressed extra virgin olive oil.
This is really what makes this soup. Gives it that shine and that flavour. Beautiful. Let's try it. If you make it with great bread and great oil and great tomatoes, it becomes like a stodgy bowl of luxury, something really amazing and beautiful and artisan. That is my happy place. Comfort heaven.
The ultimate quick and easy comforting dish, using humble store-cupboard ingredients elevated into a heavenly hearty soup. Now for my comforting sausage bake. Minimum effort, maximum flavour, gorgeous grub for those you love.
This is a really tasty dish, but I'm going to warn you, right? It's probably the most unchefy thing I've ever done. It's quite frumpy, it's quite ugly, but the combination's genius. And when it comes out the oven, 50 minutes later, it's delicious.
With ripe cherry tomatoes, garlic, rosemary focaccia, white beans, and free-range pork chipolatas.
This is something, it's just comfort food at its best. It's a combination that's so good. It's a bit like kind of when you have a day in wearing your gym jams or that kind of frumpy old jumper that really shouldn't see the street or your friends. I've got 600 grams of beautiful cherry tomatoes here. What I'll do is I'll half the regular cherry tomatoes like this. It's kind of, you know, a bit like a savoury bread and butter pudding. It's got that feeling that makes you always want to go back for another bit. It's delicious. So the second ingredient is the bread. I'm using focaccia here. I really like this bread in this dish. Just tear it up, but of course you could use any stale bread. Just get it in there, 200 grams. So that's a rosemary focaccia. And then we're gonna go for 4 cloves of garlic. So just peel those cloves. And then I'm gonna finely slice these. The garlic goes in, and then the fourth ingredient, beans. Now, tin beans are brilliant, really brilliant, but if you look in good supermarkets and delis, you'll find that there's a whole range of beans in jars. And generally speaking, the jar of beans have more love, more care, more attention. They're just in a little vegetarian stock, and they just taste amazing. And just take the juice and all, everything goes in. I'm gonna dress this now, almost kind of like a salad. So I'm gonna season it generously with pepper. We're gonna go in with a swig, about a tablespoon of red wine vinegar, some extra virgin olive oil, tablespoon, and then we're gonna give it a nice little toss up. And the stodge of the bread and the beans is just gonna kind of exaggerate now. So that's kind of the heart of the dish, done. Seasoned up and lovely. So last ingredient, a good loyal friend, chipolatas. So I've got 12 quality chipolatas here. I want to just pinch them in the middle, twist, pinch in the middle, twist. I literally only do this just for portion controlling and just to kind of make more of the sausage, really. And they're all going to sit on the top. So I'm just going to push those chipolatas in. Let's do one more here. Most of the sausages will be golden and crisp, but some of it will be kind of blonde and soft, and it's just going to be utter comfort food. The sides will kind of just cook away a little bit and go crispy and gnarly, and in the oven it goes at 180 degrees Celsius, which is 350 Fahrenheit, for 45 minutes or thereabouts until golden and delicious looking. Oh, the smell is amazing. Look at that. Sizzling, flipping away. Everything just cooked into each other. So beautiful. You know, that is exactly the kind of thing that I love to do. Quick, easy, things that you know people are gonna love. Some of the sausage here is golden, and then if you turn it around, some of it's kind of like soft and gentle. Delicious flavour going into everything. I just say, enjoy the simplicity. Got 4 big old portions there. Let's have a little taste up. Delicious. The beans are like literally the best baked beans ever. So good, so tasty. It's amazing, so easy to put together, but the oven does all the hard work. I think in a way you take just a small amount of sausages a long way. You get a big bang for your buck, but it is comfort food at its best. It's not glamorous, but it's like the best company ever. Comfort food, stodge, gorgeousness. What's not to love? That, on a slightly chilly day, or frankly any day, is all good.
A phenomenally fast, no-frills feast for the people you love best. My sticky lamb chops, a speedy one-pan wonder loaded with flavour and ready in minutes when you need foolproof food fast.
It's an amazing, amazing combination.
Using succulent lamb chops, baby carrots, garlic, oranges and fresh thyme.
So we're going to cook the most beautiful, beautiful lamb chops. This is a real treat. This is a dinner, something that you can share with someone you love. So look at these beautiful French-trimmed lamb chops. They're gorgeous. But if you get them untrimmed, that's absolutely fine. What I want to do is take a little bit of time just to score the fat.
This clever hack will help to quickly render down the fat so you can cook the lamb without the need for extra oil.
This is going to look beautiful and it's going to go really crispy, which is going to be joyful to eat. So we're going to season up these little bad boys. Lovely sea salt, the board and the meat. Plenty of black pepper, rub it into the skin. All those little cuts, get all that seasoning in there. Right, then we're going to put the lamb almost back together again, right, as a little rack of fat. So we're going to put this in here like that. So what I'm going to do is put real emphasis on the skin. Now it's going to render all that away, but see this meat here? This is the sweet meat, and that benefits from being a little bit overcooked. So we're going to have incredible juicy eye meat, really gnarly meat around the side, and crispy, crispy skin. It's going to be beautiful. Okay, next bit. Baby carrots. Now, of course, you can use regular orange baby carrots, but if you look down good supermarkets or really good farmers markets, the colours are so beautiful. And for me, if you see it, just buy it. With the carrots, just take the end off like this, just about 1 centimetre from the top. So about 200 grams carrots here.
To cut down the cooking time, chop any chunky ones in half.
Now back to the pan, right? See the fat that's come out here? This is great. We have a little sneak peek, right? You can see that we're not cooking the actual meat, but we're starting to render that fat. We go in with the carrots. This is what I really love about this recipe. One pan. We've got our carrots benefiting from everything that's cooking and rendering out of the lamb. Now for the third ingredient, garlic. Best friends with lamb and carrots, actually. So get a bulb. You want about 8 cloves. And then, really importantly, we're going to cook the garlic in the skin. The skin is the most incredible protective layer. So what you want to do is not smash it to pieces, but a light little slap. It's really subtle little things, but that light little crack releases enough of the garlic flavour to flavour the whole dish, but keep the garlic protected inside so you can devour it as a caramelised little sweetie. It's absolutely delicious. And then I've got some orange. Halve 2 oranges and then nick the zest off of 1 orange. Avoid this bitter part and you just have this incredible orange part. And when that hits the fat of the lamb, it kind of curls up and kind of goes chewy and just sweet and perfumed and delicious. 3 halves, 1 zest. It's all looking good. Now, in the pan here, these carrots are kind of pretty much cooked. You can see they're catching and blistering. The lamb, by the way, is still largely raw, but the skin is crispy.
This is such a cool way to cook lamb. To finish, just turn the chops on their sides and sear.
At this stage in the game, I'm going to go in with the orange zest, okay? And as soon as that hits the fat, then we got another little story. Look at the colours. It's kind of like autumn in a pan. And what I love about it is it's all focused on cooking the most perfect and precisely gorgeous lamb chop. And then the last ingredient is thyme. And whenever thyme goes in, it's like fireworks because it goes nuts. It starts spitting and popping in a really beautiful way. So in it goes, and have a little listen.
Chops done. It's so quick and easy. Just 1 more ingredient and we're there.
We're going to go orange juice. And in a matter of seconds, we're going to reduce down the juice from these 3 oranges into the most fantastic glaze. This whole thing about 5 ingredients is a real lesson on less is more, and also a focus on technique. So just thinking back over this recipe, skin for 5 minutes until it's really, really crispy, then just 2 minutes on each side. And then like the moment when I put the juice in, cook it down, and it's gone from boiling to now frying again. You see how glazed that is? That's gonna be outrageous to eat.
What a treat. Gnarly, sticky, sweet lamb chops in no time at all.
Serve that in the middle of the table. Yeah, you can pair it up with a carb of your choice, maybe some steamed greens, but that is an incredible way to cook lamb chops. Oh my God, it's really, really good. The carrots, they haven't even been parboiled, and they're totally soft, and actually they're more intense in flavour. They haven't lost any flavour in the water. It's all happened in the pan. And then the garlic. Out comes this beautiful little sweetie that's mild, sweet, a little charred on one side, it's a little soft on the other. Absolutely gorgeous. It's proper, get in there, get stuck in, mop it all up. That's an absolute winner.
Luxurious lamb chops, loaded with flavour, the perfect sharing treat. Crazy delicious, but so quick and easy. Next, my sweet chicken surprise. An inspired one-pan wonder with a great hack for a stunning sauce.
We're gonna cook this so the skin is really crispy and the meat is melt in your mouth, but we're gonna flavour it in the most beautiful way.
Using fresh free-range chicken legs, seedless grapes, garlic, red vermouth, and fresh tarragon.
So first of all, I just want to prep this up nice and simply. A little bit of olive oil over the chicken, and we're going to season with sea salt and some pepper. We're going to put a pan on a medium-high heat, and we just move this around, pat the oil on the skin. I want tender, juicy meat that just falls away from the bone, and lovely golden crisp skin. So once you've seasoned it up, place it skin side down into this pan that's starting to get nice and hot. Let's have a little wash of the hands. So we want to get some colour onto that chicken, give it a little bit of attitude, but I'm going to bring some flavours together that maybe you've never had with it, that I promise you, that I assure you are amazing. Really, really good. So we're going to use some grapes. Now, if you go to the supermarkets, they do those little mixed boxes, red ones, green ones. When these cook with the chicken, the flavours that happen are remarkable. Absolutely delicious. Some people can be a bit funny about sweet and savoury, but then again, you know, all of the things that we really love are sort of a little bit sweet and sour, whether it's ketchups, whether it's sweet and sour dishes, whether it's having apple sauce with roast pork, right? This kind of fruit, this acidity and sort of lovely crispy skin, right, and moorish meat. This is an absolutely fantastic match. So look, we got some colour happening on the chicken, and then I'm going to go in with the garlic now. Get yourself a nice bowl, put it here, and give it a slap, right? Just like that. Remove the cory part, and then just get these garlic cloves. Just give them a little crack. Just a tiny little crack is enough to perfume the fat that flavours the chicken, but also the natural paper that's around the garlic cloves will protect it. And in the cooking process, those garlic cloves are going to get so sweet and so caramelised, it's going to be amazing. So what I want to do now is just pick myself a whole load of these grapes. As I eat this now, yeah, it tastes like a lovely grape, but when it cooks, it just completely transforms the flavour, and it's going to work so well with this chicken. Let it rain grapes. And now I want to break the frying process by adding something beautiful. Rosé vermouth.
Enhanced with spices, herbs and flowers, red vermouth's instant depth of flavour is your shortcut to a stunning sauce.
And then we're going to put it in the oven for about 40 minutes until golden and crisp and tender. The fruit's going to be amazing. And I cook that at 180 degrees Celsius, which is 350 Fahrenheit. You can see, like, the skin is getting really crispy. It's dancing. And the sauce. This is what I love about this method. You get that lovely, thin, crispy skin. You can feel the meat is tender, And the grapes do the most amazing thing where they kind of blister and mix with the vermouth, which mixes with the flavour coming out of the chicken. And it's just a fantastic way of cooking it. Now, I've got one last ingredient to go, and that's the little surprise, tarragon. It's a really beautiful, fresh herb. And what I want to do is just pick the nice, delicate leaves here and put to one side, and then just strip these bigger leaves off like that. And it's got the most fantastic aniseedy flavour. It's going to work so well with the chicken because it's light and it's fresh, but also it's going to work really well with the vermouth. And then I just want to add this tarragon now to the juice here, and it's just going to wilt in. Let's take our chicken. Look how lovely and golden that is. And then here, with the tarragon, just mix it, and then I'm just going to place these gorgeous ingredients around the chicken, and then just put a few of those fresh pieces on top, and there you got a fantastic way to serve chicken. So let's get in there. The meat is beautifully cooked. Bit of grape action, bit of sauce action, and a bit of mouth action. The tarragon just links it all together. And the vermouth reduces down so nicely. And don't forget the garlic. We put a load of garlic in there, and it's been protected by the skin. And when you squeeze that out, you've got these little kind of pearls of caramelised garlic, which are so good. I mean, the amount of flavour in this dish for 5 ingredients is phenomenal. It's a wonderful principle that is classy and has deep flavours and textures. Once you've tried it, you won't look back.
Crispy skin, succulent meat, and a sweet, rich sauce. Inspired ingredients combined into a classy chicken dinner. Time for my ridiculously easy chicken pot pie, an ultimate comfort food classic that would normally take hours to make.
I don't know what it is about a pie. I always just love a pie.
Using free-range chicken thighs, mushrooms, onions, fresh thyme, and all butter puff pastry.
Now come and have a look at this. This is really quick and easy. I'm using chicken thighs, about 600 grams, and I've got 2 pans on. I've got a large pan, medium pan. I'm gonna whack them on a nice medium-high heat. I'm gonna use 2 onions, and we wanna create a lot of flavour with just 5 ingredients. So we really gotta focus on caramelising the onions.
Chop your onions and cook them down to give your pie a sticky, sweet base.
So we go into a pan, full heat, with a little olive oil there, about a tablespoon. And we want the sweetness to really come out of these onions. And a little season at the beginning. Get those flavours really working. So it's always a good time to let out all your emotions when you're cutting onions, bless. They're strong ones. So look, chicken thighs, boneless, skin off. I've got 6 thighs here, guys. And I'm just gonna cut 4 of them into big chunks. And then the last 2, much finer. So we're gonna get a different kind of texture, kind of like coarse mince.
Cutting the chicken 2 ways creates texture and makes the pie super luxurious.
So we've already got a nice little bit of colour happening on the onions. Take the pan to the chicken.
Simply saute your chicken and onions for 6 minutes. For this crazy quick pie, the pan goes straight into the oven to double up as a pie dish.
While that's happening, let's talk about mushrooms, because I absolutely love mushrooms. If you look around the supermarkets now, they have these little mixed packs of field and wild mushrooms, right? Just very simply cut those in half. And there's no rules to this at all. There's something that I love to do to put an extra bit of flavour into this. Now, when you dry grill or dry fry in a pan with nothing, it brings out this incredible nutty flavour. And I want to show you how to do it. It couldn't be simpler. You just take a mushroom and you just place it straight in there like that. I'm just going to kind of scald them and kind of char them. And it's a completely different flavour from the mushroom. It's really nice. Look, look, look. It's almost like kind of semi-dried mushrooms. And of course, dried mushrooms are kind of like, they've got that kind of beef stock kind of savoury flavour. So as soon as they're charred, we're going to drop them into here.
Charring your mushrooms like this is such a quick way to inject your pie with bucket loads of flavour.
And then we just put the others in. Okay, so the herb of choice, I'm going to use thyme. Absolutely delicious with chicken and mushrooms. So I'm going to take a nice little wodge, about so much, right? And I'm going to just steal this for later. So just pick this lovely herb off of the stalk and we'll just tear them in The rest of those mushrooms are good to go. Delicious. Now, I just want about 150 mils of water and a little dribble of red wine vinegar.
Now for the next ridiculously useful time saver, shop-bought puff pastry.
So a nice little tip to roll it out is just use a little greaseproof paper. It doesn't stick, and it's really, really easy. I want to just roll it out to the size of that frying pan. Round about 1/2 centimetre thick. Don't worry if it's not perfectly round, it doesn't matter, because you're going to absolutely tuck it right in there, and it's going to be beautiful. So we're going to take our pastry, we're going to lay this straight on top, tuck it around the edges, just like that, and then get that last little bit of thyme, and just use this to brush a little oil around the pastry. And can you see how the steam is coming through this pastry? Just take this time, and then I'm going to put it right in the middle, and that will relieve some of the steam. Then that's going in an oven at 220 degrees Celsius, which is 425 Fahrenheit. Whack it in the bottom of the oven, close the door, 15 minutes, it will be done really, really quickly.
My pie in the pan is quick and saves on messing around with loads of different pots and pans.
Look at that. Come on! I don't know what it is about a pie, just love a pie. Very simply divide it up and just get in there. And just give it out. Time to have a little go at our pie. It's stodgy, it's crunchy, and it's so simple. So, the flavour from the mushrooms is incredible, but it is a very simple, super delicious little pie. And the puff pastry is a great, great tip. Beautiful.
A glorious comfort food classic with a quick and easy twist for the perfect crispy crust. Next up, my stress-free pork and cheesy mash gratin. All the comfort food and flavour of a roast, but ready in half the time.
It's going to be an amazing 5-ingredient combo, super easy to make, and it looks beautiful. A great little sharing dinner, middle of the table.
Made with gorgeous pork fillet, Maris Piper potatoes, cheddar cheese, prosciutto, and fresh sage.
First job, kettle on, pan on, and we've got 800 grams of potatoes. I'm not going to peel them. Don't want to sit there peeling all day. Let's get on with dinner. This is quick, quick, quick. So just slice the potatoes into 2-centimetre chunks, like that. Throw them in the pan, fill it up with some water, whack it on a high heat. We're going to boil that for sort of 12, 15 minutes. So I've got this beautiful fillet of pork here. Sometimes I call it a tenderloin. It's a really, really nice cut. This is about 400 grams, so this will serve 4 people beautifully, and it's going to cook in the mash together, so it's going to be really, really beautiful. Let's get a pan on a high heat. I'm going to season that pork with a little bit of sea salt and pepper, lots of black pepper, and have a nice little roll up and get that seasoning all over it.
Into the pan with olive oil to speedily sear each side.
That's what we want, that's what we like. It cooks really consistently. Just keep moving it around. Look at that colour, guys.
After just 3 minutes, take out your pork and jack up the flavour with fried fresh sage leaves.
If you just put sage on stuff, it'll just go like tea, it'll go dry, it'll do nothing. But the minute that the sage gets kissed by the oil, different story. Fragrant, crispy, and delicious. So the sage goes on here. So let's just check the spuds. Right, these potatoes are ready.
Give the spuds a good old mash.
You can go as fine or as smooth as you like.
Season, add a glug of olive oil, and grate up 20 grams of cheddar cheese.
And you can just add a little water just to adjust the texture. And look, just by adding it, you almost can beat it a bit more and it becomes a lot softer. So mix that up and you make the most fantastic rustic mash. The great thing about the pork fillet is really lean, but it's really delicious and it's very tender and it's very, very easy to cook. So it's a great cut of meat. It really is. Take some of that juice and pour that right over and that will start to cook into the potatoes. And then just a tiny little grating of cheese on the top, but not on the meat. And that, my friend, is going to be beautiful. So whack that in the oven on a high grill.
This is one speedy dish. 10 minutes is all it takes to turn golden and crispy.
Right, guys, look at that. So good.
Now for the last quick hit. Wafer-thin prosciutto will give gorgeous flavour and a crispy crunch.
You can just take bits and tear it and sort of just stick it into the potato. Or you can leave it whole, wrap it around the meat. Sage and pork, it's just a great little combo that's gonna work ultra hard. And then comforting mash, but with crispy bits. Never deny yourself crispy bits. Back in for the last 2 minutes. You know when to take it out because it just looks incredible.
2 minutes is all it takes to crispen up your prosciutto. Grab your plates and get ready to tuck in.
So we're looking good. Let's have a little look. Oh. Come on. Brilliant, brilliant combo. Oh, look at that. Let's have a slice up. You can see it's really juicy. Would I go for that bit first or that little corner of crispy, insane? I mean, look, mashed potato, even the bum's gone a bit crispy. Oh, come on. Sage, crispy prosciutto, mash and meat. That is so good. That nice amount of cheese in the mash, and the prosciutto, and the fat melting and going crispy, then going into the mash. It's like everything's flavouring each other. Amazing.
My pork and mash gratin, a real belter of a dish. Big hitting family food that you can knock up in a hurry. My tender lamb shoulder, a phenomenal feast to share with your family or friends.
This is a classic quick and easy recipe where we bung it all together and then let the oven do all the hard work.
Using quality lamb shoulder, dried chickpeas, plum tomatoes, preserved lemons, and Moroccan spice mix. Ras El Hanout.
There's nothing more delicious than a tender, slow-roasted shoulder of lamb. It's a quick prep, slow-cooked dish. We're talking the most sumptuous, gorgeous, melt-in-your-mouth lamb. It'll feed about 6 to 10 people. It's literally the simplest, most untechnical recipe that you could ever imagine that over-delivers on flavour and enjoyment and feasting and sharing, and it's just one that you're going to keep in your repertoire. So look, it starts with chickpeas. You know, and in Britain, we're kind of naughty. We don't really eat enough beans and chickpeas. And often one of the kind of barriers to that is soaking it overnight, slow cooking, then seasoning. We're going to break all of those barriers. We're going to go straight in with 500 grams of your chickpeas. No soaking, no mucking about, in. And then we've got a kilo of beautiful plum tomatoes, right? If you can't get good tomatoes, because they're not in season, tin tomatoes are absolutely delicious. Just hack these up into erratic chunks. So it takes no time and no technique to do this. We've got those 2 ingredients going. We've got our lamb weight in there. Our next ingredient, which you can get in good supermarkets, delis, and online, is preserved lemons. They're fantastic. They're an absolute classic of the Moroccan region, almost like a kind of lemon squash flavour. Really amazing. 2 of these and a bit of the pickling liquor are phenomenal. You kind of cut them open. They're often quite seedy, but they give a flavour that's so gorgeous, and this makes the dish work. It's like a little secret, wonderful ingredient. It's going to punch well above its weight. A little bit like me marrying my wife. Okay, so in with the lemon, right? And also what I love about this is I don't know which bit is the most delicious, the skin, the pith, or the juice. A couple of tablespoons of the juice. Okay, the next ingredient that's going to work really, really hard is a spice combination that's truly amazing. And I've looked at a whole bunch of different supermarkets and they all seem to have it. It's called Ras El Hanout. 2 heaped teaspoons is what we want. But if you look in it, can you see all the chunks, the powder? There's little leaves of rose petal in there, right? This can have up to sort of 20 different layers of spice in there. So it's kind of like an Indian garam masala. It's a blend. What you get for your 2 teaspoons is a whole range of spices that you probably wouldn't have in your home. Just add a little oil to the lamb shoulder and a little pinch of salt and our spice combination, and we're gonna have a little rub up.
This Moroccan spice blend is a really clever way to turbo boost the flavour of your lamb.
What I love about this dish, there's no technique involved, just the love of 5 great ingredients. The shoulder of lamb, it's a tough cut of meat, but slow cooking is gonna melt all that toughness. And the flavours that you can achieve are phenomenal.
give your lamb a good old massage on the other side so it benefits from the epic spice mix.
So water, 1 litre, goes in here.
Season with a pinch of pepper and a tiny drizzle of olive oil, and that's the prep done.
I then love to do a double wrapping of tin foil, just to really protect it. We're trying to create a little ecosystem, right? We want the water to evaporate, you know, flavour through the lamb and the tomatoes and all those flavoured spices, hit the roof and then kind of rain back down again. Sort of clench the foil, try and make it as tight as you can, all tucked up, ready and raring to go. So you can actually put it into a cold oven. So it's a brilliant dish to whack in just after breakfast. That's when I normally do it. And that goes in an oven at 170 degrees Celsius, which is 325 Fahrenheit. I'm gonna cook that for about 6 hours. And in that time, everything's just gonna cook together. You know, it's all good.
Put together in well under 10 minutes, and the oven then does all the hard work. My perfect kind of cooking. Quick and easy.
The house is full of gorgeous smells, and this, my friends, this is what you get. Look at that. Come on! I mean, that is just insanely good. You can see where the meat has kind of pulled away from the bones. So tender. The tomato perfume is just absolutely through everything, and that's why that tin foil is so very important. If you were a really nervous cook, do this. The guarantee of flavour and tenderness and textures and enjoyment are all here. Let's get in there. What's really amazing about those preserved lemons is even though they've had 6 hours cooking, the texture is still there. And that little bit of fragrance just pops. It's just unbelievable. And the chickpeas are cooked in all of that. They're like super chickpeas. This is a proper family dinner. This is one for you to try, definitely.
Quick to prep and outrageously tasty. This epic sharing feast works really hard to make cooking for a crowd a breeze. First up, my mega mustardy beef. It's super simple, but melt in the mouth tasty.
Everyone's got to have a couple of really good stews up their sleeve, and I'm going to make melting mustardy beef. It's one of my favourites.
You'll need shin of beef, carrots, onions, Worcestershire sauce, and whole grain mustard.
5 ingredients working so hard to make a delicious, delicious stew. And the great thing about this recipe is it's really quick to prep and slow to cook, which means you're amplifying tenderness and flavour. So let's start at the beginning. Let's start with the meat. I've got a cut of meat here which I want to reconnect you with. It's a shin of beef. Go to your butchers, ask for nearly a kilo, 900 grams of beef shin. And it normally comes with a bone in here like that. Ask him to remove it, but make sure you keep it. This is full of marrow bone, right? So it's like the most amazing stock cube that could go into your food, all natural. So we've got the marrow bone there. That can go into a pan. Now I've got 2 pans, a casserole pan that we're gonna cook in, and then a frying pan, and I'll turn them up onto a high heat. The marrow bone can go in and just brown off a little bit. And then I wanna slice up the shin of beef into sort of 5 centimetre chunks. Just nice big cuts, really simple, and go straight into the pan for a bit of browning. By colouring the meat, you're going to give the stew really beautiful flavour. Lots of black pepper and a nice seasoning of salt happening as well. Okay, so we've got another casserole pan here, and this is where we're going to cook the whole thing. So let's just go to carrots first. 500 grams of carrots. Now, of course, the regular carrots are these little beauties. But when you go down the farmers markets or in good supermarkets now, you'll notice there's heirloom varieties. These are kind of like the old-fashioned varieties. If you see them, please buy them, because if we don't buy them, they'll stop selling them. And I just love the array of different varieties. I'm just going to cut them at an angle into sort of 5 centimetre chunks, because they're going to have 4 hours in the oven with the meat, okay? So you don't want to cut them small, because they'll just dissolve into nothing. We want them to stand up to the cooking. So just add a little oil to your casserole pan, and we'll go in with those incredible carrots. So shake those in, and then next ingredient up, onions. 500 grams, white onions, red onions, whatever you can get your hands on is all good. I'm using one of each. And I want you to just peel it. If you just half it, and then just kind of bust them out of their natural shape into these lovely little petals, and they just cook so well in the stew, like that. So let's put the onions in with the carrots. So we've got these on high heats. So we're getting a bit of colour happening here. Let's have a little look at the meat. Beautiful colour. And there's no oil in that pan, just natural fat rendering out. So I've turned all that meat. We're nearly there. The last couple of ingredients are Worcestershire sauce and mustard, whole grain mustard. What a combo. It's going to really bring all these flavours together. So let's go in. We're going to put it together now. It couldn't be any simpler. In we go. Oh, yes. And the bone. So we're back into one pot cooking now. And then we're going to go in with 120 millilitres of Worcestershire sauce. And then in with a couple of nice teaspoons of whole grain mustard. This is going to be a joyful combination. I'm going to top it up with just a little bit of boiling water, about 800 mils, but just to cover the bone. And then lid on top. The oven is at 160 degrees Celsius, which is 325 Fahrenheit. Now, let's just let the oven do all the work. The stew's had about 4 hours. Let's get it out. Oh, it smells amazing. Look at that. Oh, it's dark and moody. Right, come on, let's have a little look, see what's going on. Beautiful. And it just falls apart. Let's have a little look at the bone marrow. Just try and pour it out. Look at that. Loads of flavour right there. You can see all the way through it now. Let's serve up a little bit. What's beautiful is the meat is chunky, but you know the smallest amount of pressure, and that's just going to fall apart. Come on then, let's get in there. The beef shin is so tender and sweet. The thing I love about this dish is you can knock it together so quick and you let the oven do the work. Let the magic happen. The gravy is so good. Absolutely heavenly.
My melt-in-the-mouth mustardy beef. Simple comfort food that's loaded with flavour. First, my stupidly simple one-pan tikka chicken. The fastest roast there is.
Sometimes you just need a dish that's so quick to prep, and then you can just bang it in the oven while you get on with other stuff, and then fill the house up with the most gorgeous, gorgeous smells.
You'll need free-range chicken, tikka paste, potatoes, fresh coriander, and cauliflower.
It's very simple. We're going to hack up the spuds to 3-centimetre chunks. I'm going to leave the skin on, so they'll be really crispy on the outside and super fluffy on the inside. Literally just hack them up. Throw them into a tray. No parboiling, no other pans required. And it's kind of funny, isn't it, that concept of simple. You know, is it coming in and sort of like pounding out a dish in 20 minutes? Or is it just bang a few things together in minutes and let the oven do the work? And I think, you know, you need both, right? Depending on what you want to cook. But I love this kind of thing on a Friday because I've always got stuff to do, you know, but you can have that lovely hour and 20 minutes while you just get on with stuff. So spuds are in.
This really is quick and easy cooking. In well under 10 minutes, you can have a whole meal prepped and in the oven.
Then the collie. Collie's great, and certainly when it's spiced with Indian spices. So I'm just going to take the florets off, just break them up into potato-sized pieces. That's the bit we normally use, but we're also going to celebrate the leaves and the stalk. We're just going to chop up, similar-ish size to the potatoes, and get it in there. And the stalk. Don't waste anything, it's all good. So, in we go.
Next up, coriander. To ramp up the flavour, use stalks and all.
Slice all the way up there until you run out of stalks, like right now, and you end up with these beautiful leaves. Just put the leaves in a little bowl of cold water. If you can put ice in there, even better, but that will keep them really fresh until you sprinkle it over when this is finished. Beautiful. These go over here. Pretty much this is done now.
To finish the veg, Just season with olive oil, red wine vinegar, salt and pepper.
So let's get our chicken like that, and let's get our tikka paste. Now, this is not a sauce, this is a paste, okay? And these Indian spice pastes are brilliant. So, you know, this has got about 11 ingredients in it, and it's all done for you. So 2 heaped tablespoons of tikka paste. But of course, you could use any paste you like. You can like mix it up. If you've got a particular curry like Rogan Josh or, you know, korma, use that, it's all good.
Making your own curry paste is a joy, but if you're pushed for time, the ready-made stuff delivers on flavour, fast.
Then hands, chicken, rub up, massage in all the cracks. And just the residual paste on your hand is enough to kiss the spuds and the cauliflower. It's that simple. It is done. Let's have a hand wash. I've got my oven preheated, 180 degrees Celsius or 350 Fahrenheit. And here goes the magic little tip. I'm gonna put in the tray underneath and then put the chicken directly over the top. So it's gonna rain spiced chicken juice all over the potatoes and collie. It's gonna be amazing.
With this nifty method, the chicken juices create an instant, intense, spicy sauce. So you won't need to bother making a time-consuming gravy.
Okay, let's have a little look. It's so exciting. Okay, just over an hour this has had, and it's such a great, great technique. Come on, let's pull it out. So here she is. Get your little scraper, and there'll be crispy bits. And if you think about it, all the kind of goodness that would have gone into making a traditional gravy has now rained on your cauliflower and your potatoes. I've got the coriander that's in the cold water. You know, it's the twist on the classic roast chicken. It's so beautiful. Just pull it off the bone. And also notice, it's still full of juice. See that juice? Beautiful.
With this cracking roast, you'll have all of the flavour with none of the fuss.
Let's get in there. Let's have a little tuck in. The skin is so crisp and delicious. So good. Those spices, really nice contrast. And the potatoes and the collie, it's kind of the best bit. It's absolutely delicious.
Prepped in well under 10 minutes, cooked in one pan, my time-saving chicken tikkas, the fastest roast around.
We're gonna make the most amazing, quick little dinner. It's delicious. I love this dish.
Using hand-dyed scallops, black pudding, frozen peas, mint, and perfect spuds for mashing.
Seared scallops with crispy black pudding, hear me out, with crispy mint and smashed peas and potato. 5 ingredients working really, really hard.
First job, get the mash on. Cut 400 grams of Maris Piper potatoes into 2-centimetre chunks.
I'm not gonna peel it, so I'm saving time. And also, a lot of the nutrition is in the skin, so I gain nothing. I gain nothing in this dish by sitting there peeling it, right? Because we're gonna have peas in there as well. Lovely, vivid, green, gorgeous, sweet pea, potato mash. Calm down, Jamie, it's just a dish. We'll boil those for about 10, 12 minutes. They'll cook really quick because you've cut them really small. So, scallops, black pudding, it's a beautiful combination. Don't knock it until you've tried it. Have a look at these scallops. They're beautiful. They're really amazing things.
While the mash cooks, you've got plenty of time to prep the other 4 ingredients.
Let's talk about herbs. Mint, love it, one of my favourite herbs. Take the bigger leaves and pick them off, put them to one side, and then you can take your smaller leaves. These are going to be fried. And many people have never, ever fried mint before, and it is a joy. The big leaves are going to go in the mash. OK, so let's take a nice little chunk off the black pudding here.
All 5 ingredients need to work really hard, and black pudding is your fast track to flavour and texture.
It cooks up so crispy and amazing. So that goes in the pan first, and then what I'm going to do is just prep my scallops a little bit. I'm going to leave most of these whole, but I do want to show you a preparation with our little scallop. If I just score this you know, very carefully. It's very easy, it's nothing chefy at all. Halfway down, like a little chessboard, that will open out like a flower, and it creates texture. So we're going to just add a little tablespoon of olive oil. Season the scallops with a little salt. Not too much. Remember, they're from the sea. Then we're going to go with the 2 scored ones first, and you see what happens.
Scallops are brilliant when you're in a hurry because they cook so quickly. Simply sear them for 2 minutes on each side.
And we'll go in with the mint leaves. And they're going to go really crispy and they'll snap in your mouth. It's mint like you've never really seen it before. And as you can see, it's all going at the same time. This is really, really exciting cooking. Crispy black pudding, scallops searing, we've got mint getting crispy. We've got potatoes here, they're nearly there, they're like a minute away. So I'm going to put in some frozen peas. And frozen peas are like the most incredible workhorse in any kitchen.
Put 200 grams of peas in with the spuds, saving time and washing up.
Peas boiling with potatoes. Scallops searing. Beautiful. Look at that. And it's just caught beautifully. And this piece of black pudding here, just bust it up, break it up, because I want it to be really crispy, like little sprinkles. And if you don't like the idea of black pudding, you put in some lovely smoked bacon. Beautiful. Really, really nice. So I'm going to grab this mint that I picked, slice that up, and that's ready for our beautiful minted pea smashed potato.
Drain your peas and potatoes and just let them steam. Add the chopped mint and then mash it up.
We always make mash with butter, and actually if you make it with really nice cold pressed extra virgin olive oil, you can make an incredible mash. We'll season that with salt and pepper. I'll take this mash, and if you wanted to make it smoother, you could, but I quite like just keeping it rough and ready. Let's get our little scored one, just so you can see what's going on. Gorgeous. Look at the mint. Really, really crisp. The great British black pudding. Crispy, super savoury, and ridiculously tasty. Come on. There you go. Really nice, exciting plate of food. Comfort food of mashed potatoes, crunchy bits. So good. You know, I love the idea of this being for 2 people. You know, it's something you can cook so quickly, so effortlessly. The combo does all the hard work for you. Proper cooking. Delicious.
A gorgeous stress-free supper for 2 that's so quick and easy. When you don't have the time or energy for complicated cooking, this is the perfect date night dinner. It's going to be so good, it's going to be really colourful, it's super quick, it's healthy, and yes, it's luxurious with the crab. It's such a cracker of a dish. Using pre-cooked crab, cherry tomatoes, red chilli, fresh fennel, and good old spaghetti. So look, here is our beautiful crab meat. You can get this from supermarkets, and they do some pretty good stuff these days. Or of course, you can order it in from your fishmongers. They have it picked and dressed. I think probably crab is one of my favourite things in the world. I'm using a mixed pot of white and brown crab meat. It's outrageously tasty. And as it's already been cooked, it's a real speed demon. If you've never tried it before, it's sweet, it's flaky. Get out there, it's so good. So first up, fennel. And in this dish, these little tops act as little fronds, little herbs, little sprinkles at the end. And they're beautiful. So we'll reserve those and keep those for later. The toughest part of the fennel will be these little stalky parts here. Finely chop these, just like that. Any old way, just get them fine. The finer you chop them, the quicker they'll get tender. I'm going to put a pan on a high heat. I've got a pan of boiling water going, olive oil, a little drizzle goes in, and we go in with the fennel stalks, and then with the bulb, look at that. It's beautiful. Let's cut it in half. I want to show you what's inside. The thing I love about fennel
is you can steam it and dress it, roast it. You can put it in with your boiled potatoes and then mash it. There's so much you can do with this beautiful vegetable. Really nice. So just finely slice fennel up, any old how. Don't stress about it. Like that.
Into a hot pan, add salt and black pepper.
Have a little shake up. Lid on top, so we're frying, caramelisation, and steaming, softening and sweetening.
This 2-in-1 fry and steam method is a quick and easy way to cut down on your cooking time, but guarantee flavour.
Next up, we're going to go in with the pasta. So I'm going to use 150 grams of spaghetti. This is enough for 2 people. Get your hand around it, twist it, in we go. So let that boil away, nice and fast. It's all going to be done by the time this is cooked. And the thing I love about this recipe is it's just so simple.
While the pasta cooks, with the fennel almost ready, it's time to bring together the rest of the sauce.
I'm using cherry tomatoes, any you can get your hands on. It doesn't really matter what you do, but you can half or quarter these. Now, chilli. All I'm going to do is put the tip of the knife in the end, split it lengthwise. The really hot part of the chilli are the seeds. So if we remove those, what we can do is start celebrating the chili's kind of fruitiness. So have a little look in here. See how you got some colour there? That's fine, that's nice, we like that. Then we're going to go in with the chilli and the tomatoes, and we're going to toss that through. And then we're going to go in for the last minute with the crab. So the brown meat here, this is maximum flavour, okay? We're going to go in with the brown meat and the white meat.
All you need to do to the crab is heat it through. It's one of the fastest flavour boosts around.
Mix it up, really stir in that brown meat because it's going to really be silky and delicious and be the most wonderful, wonderful seasoning to this dish. And then drag the pasta in. Don't go putting it in a colander, right? That starchy cooking water is really, really important because that's what creates silky sauce. So we don't want it claggy. Chili loves seafood, it loves crab. Tomatoes the same. You know, fennel works with everything. It's just a beautiful celebration of the sea. I'm so excited to try this, I really am. And to finish, just a tiny bit of cold-pressed extra virgin olive oil. Oh, come on. I am literally so chuffed right now. That is one of my favourite pastas. It just makes me want to smile, and it's just so good.
My super speedy crab spaghetti, a date night dinner to die for that's so quick and easy. First, my quick Asian fish cakes. A speedy salmon supper that's easy to prep when you can't be doing with complicated cooking.
It's the coolest dish ever. You're going to look like a hero, and it's a joy to make.
Using salmon fillets, lemongrass, ginger, fresh coriander, and sweet and spicy chili jam.
OK, so I'm going to give you a recipe for the most incredible handmade, homemade fish cakes. Start to finish in no time at all. Pan on. We're going to use salmon, nice little salmon fish cakes. 500 grams of salmon. Get it from your fishmonger or your supermarket. Skin off, no bones.
This is effortless cooking at its best. Just chop up the salmon with these Asian ingredients.
We're bigging up flavour with ginger, lemongrass. It's a beautiful, fragrant thing. And using a lot of sort of Asian cooking. I'm just going to take the ends off like that, and then we're just going to give it a little spank with the side of a knife. Look at that. Absolutely amazing. And if you smell it, it's kind of like lemonade. It's kind of like sherbet dip. It's so fragrant. Wicked ingredient. And then you want a nice little sort of chunk of ginger, about a little inch-sized piece. I've been quite wasteful with the skin, but I quite like to make cups of tea out of that, and it's delicious. I'm using the herb coriander, really nice, really fragrant. I want you to pick a few beautiful garnishy little leaves, right, for a bit of sprinklage a little bit later. Then the rest, we're going to hack it up. Lay the fish on here. I'm going to slice half of it into centimetre chunks, like this, and then into little dice. That's going to be the texture and the juicy bits, right? And then the other half, we're gonna go pasty. So what's genius about this is we're just gonna keep on chopping and chopping into the ginger and the lemongrass, and there is absolutely no chef talent here whatsoever. You can see I've got my hand on the end of the knife, it's safe, and we're just gonna keep on running through it, mashing it up, you know, mincing it. You can use the side of the knife just to smudge it and smash it, and that's gonna create the most incredible paste that binds the fish cake without having to use egg whites or corn flour.
This speedy, no-fuss technique is the simplest way to bind your fish cakes. Next up, a pinch of sea salt and pepper.
And now we can bring it all together. And then you can still chop it a little bit, but there you go. We're basically done.
These are the quickest fish cakes ever. Just divide them up and shape them up.
I'm going to use no oil at all. There is enough natural fats in this salmon. All those fantastic omega-3s. See how rough that is? I haven't formed it. Let it not be perfect. This is homemade, light, vibrant flavours. It's going to fall apart in your mouth, right? You're going to hardly have to chew. It's just going to eat itself. Delish. Around about 2 minutes on each side. I can rattle this out in under 10 minutes, start to finish cooked. I'm going to turn the first one. Look at that, lightly golden. We don't want to overcook these. Now let's do the cool bit. Some chili jam. It's sweet and sour, and you're going to get a nice big bang for your buck.
A simple teaspoon on each is a great hack for a super quick sweet and spicy glaze.
I'm going to push it over the edge. And the fact that these are a little bit gnarly, that's all good. And I just want to turn it over, back on the other side for like 30 seconds. It's so quick. It's a brilliant thing to put in your repertoire when you're cooking for the ones that you love. And I love just to rack these up, put them in the middle of the table, glass of wine with friends, you know, do whatever you want. And then get your nice coriander, put it in and around. I'm telling you, if your friends try that, you can make that in front of them. They'll be like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Let's get in there, bust it open. Look how crumbly it is. So light and delicate and gorgeous. Oh, so simple, so quick. And of course, you could have it in a patty, in a pita bread, with rice, with noodles, whatever you want. But that is a fantastic little tip to make your own fish cakes. Delicious.
A show-stopping supper for days when life's too busy for complicated cooking. So let's get started with a ridiculously quick hot smoked salmon pasta. A truly luxurious dish for when time is tight.
Let me show you an absolutely spectacular pasta dish, a meal for two that is so fast.
For a taste sensation, get some sustainable hot smoked salmon, fresh asparagus, an unwaxed lemon, dried tagliarini pasta, and gorgeous creme fraiche. It's so good, you're gonna love it, and it's such a big, flavorful dish for such a quick thing to do. So, pan of boiling water on. Let's start off with the primary ingredient, the hot smoked salmon. You can get it in all the supermarkets. Gorgeous skin, flesh, and that wonderful colour. There's such a lot of flavour for one ingredient right here. So this goes in a pan, dry pan, skin side down, and we're on a medium heat here. What I want to achieve is crispy skin. It's going to be really, really good. Hot smoked salmon is a total time saver because it's already cooked. So just heat it through and get the skin gorgeously golden. Now, asparagus. I'm going to use a little gadget, which is a speed peeler, and we're going to just take this peeler from the base to the tip. And what's beautiful is the elegance, you know, the precision. Love that. As soon as it gets tricky, which is about now, that we'll put to the side. So what I'm trying to achieve here, guys, is texture, visual appeal, and of course, the way you cut vegetables and ingredients changes the way it tastes. Put the ribbons to the side for later. Then chop up the leftover asparagus, removing any woody ends. Make it quite fine, okay? Because your tagliarini is delicate, and you want this to stick around that beautiful pasta. So, salmon's been in there for like a minute. I'm going to turn the salmon, and its skin should just peel off effortlessly. And then, a little bit like pork scratchings, I want to get this crispy. So put the skin the other side down, just a little oil, and we're going to go in with the chopped asparagus.
And then if you look, you can see it rendering, getting super crispy. As we're doing that, we can use our lovely unwaxed lemon. Just a few strokes. Just the lemon zest gives such flavour. Don't waste it. So look, let's have a little look here. Look at that. You can see how delicate that is. Lovely colour. Beautiful. Big bits, small bits. And of course the asparagus is now sucking up all of that lovely flavour. Look at that. Skin's getting crispier. This is going to be great. Right, this pasta cooks in like 3-4 minutes. I've got boiling water here. Season it, always important. So you want about 150 grams of dried pasta there. This tagliolini, it has egg in it, so it's a gentle, silky kind of pasta. So just break the pasta up and then let it boil. When that salmon skin is really nice and crisp, look at that. Oh, it's popping and spitting. Take this out, and I'll just put that like that. And then I can introduce lemon juice to this very lovely pan of wonderful flavour. Or literally just move the salmon and asparagus around, and when it's kind of cooked away, I'm just going to grab this pasta and throw it in. You can drain it in the colander if you want, but if you've got tongs, you can do this. Once you've done that, then the last ingredient is wonderful creme fraiche. About a tablespoon goes in, a little bit of relief from the smokiness. And I want to contrast that with the heat from pepper. A generous dusting. And then we can jiggle the pan around. I'm going to add a little bit of cooking water. And this will kind of almost relax the creme fraiche and mix with the beautiful smoked salmon fat. And I'm going to turn the heat off now and just move the pasta around like that. The smell is phenomenal. Look at that. Oh, this is going to be good, guys. It's going to be so good.
Just before serving up, throw the asparagus ribbons into the pan to give them a quick blast of heat.
Look at the colour. Oh, really, really nice. Beautiful. All I do now is go back to my crispy bit of salmon. And you've got every last bit of flavour from that salmon. And if you want to drizzle it with a little oil. Oh, and the important thing about pasta is not to talk, eat. And I love the way when you kind of twinkle your fork around, you get the beautiful asparagus as well. And those little chunks of cooked asparagus with the smoked salmon, crispy bits. Mmm. Big flavour. Big flavour. It's a combo that wants to work. Those 5 things have got to be best mates. Do you know what I mean? You haven't got time for ice breaking. Just got to be best mates. Real food, real cooking, fun to make, and not just quick. Blooming delicious. What are you waiting for? You shouldn't even be watching anymore.
My effortless hot smoked salmon pasta. The perfect combo of truly classy flavours. Now, buckle up for a very special pasta dish with surprising flavours that your taste buds will thank you for.
This is something a bit different, and I think you're going to love it.
Get yourself some Gorgonzola cheese, super ripe pears, radicchio, dried farfalle pasta, and a handful of walnuts.
A really classy, delicious pasta dish. So the pasta of choice is farfalle, which translates as butterflies. And we love them. My girls absolutely love these. So we're going to put a couple of handfuls in for 2 people. It's going to be great. These take about 12 minutes to cook.
Season with salt, and in the time it takes for this pasta to cook, we will have the rest of the dish ready.
So let's get that lid on. In actual fact, let's swap that lid, take that, for a little bowl, or a big bowl, okay? And what I want to do here is use it as a lid, but also the subtle heat of this is the perfect thing to melt this Gorgonzola. So I'm just going to cut about half of this. Look at that. This is Italy's version of a Stilton. It's gorgeous. You can get it in the supermarkets now. You've got gooey bits, flaky, crumbly bits, light bits of blue. So you've got creaminess and funk and a whole load of texture going on. So just break that cheese up in the bottom of the bowl and that will gently ooze and melt. So that's why this bowl is so brilliant, because it's a gentle heat. So it'll be almost like a kind of fondue. And the only bit I won't use is the little bit of skin at the side. So, pasta on, cheese melting, it's looking good.
This dish is all about big, contrasting flavours. So bring on Italy's version of red chicory, the mighty radicchio.
This is a very, very famous salad leaf, famous for being bitter. And if you look at the cross-section here, it's absolutely beautiful. But if you have bitter food in conjunction with sweet food, and the sweet food in this story will be these beautiful pears, now you're talking, right? So sweet with bitter, with the creaminess of this beautiful cheese, is going to be amazing. And your tongue is going to be like, woohoo! And that's what we want.
Get a pan on a high heat, then core and finely slice 2 juicy pears.
Now, if they're one of those pears that has a kind of khaki, sandpapery sort of outside, peel them, right? You can see these ones have got silky soft outsides, and that's lovely, so just leave those. Get them a bit finer. I'm going dry into the pan. Come back here. We've got a bit of an ooze going on there, so you can see how it's just melting. Molten, funky cheese. I'm going to have a little chef's honour. This is my bit of pear, and this is a bit of oozy cheese, right? You shouldn't do this, but... Oh, creamy, funky, delicious, seasoned, depth of flavour, and then juicy, sweet. Yes, but it's only going to get better.
Clank up half the radicchio into 1 centimetre slices and add to the pears.
So sweet and bitter come together in a pan of love. We're just going to wilt that down for 3 or 4 minutes until that pasta's cooked. You can see it shrinking and softening. It smells incredible. The pasta's going to be done now. Look at that oozy cheese. You know that makes sense. Yes. Love that. So we're just going to take that off.
Drain your pasta, keeping some of that precious starchy water. And grab a handful of walnuts.
And just crush them in my hands. Beautiful. So this is where things get quite cool. Then I'm going to go in with the pasta. Let's get that wonderful melty cheese. You know it makes sense. Oh, yes. And then a little bit of that starchy cooking water. Pinch of black pepper. Wow. And then start the magic. It's the most beautiful, incredible pink. So good. And then a few bits of nuts. Crush them up as fine as you can in your hands and just sprinkle it on top. My friends, that is a classic. Come on, let's get in there. Most of this is super silky, but with the odd hit of the walnuts. The bitterness is very subtle now, but the pear is beyond sweet and it's just working. And the cheese is not strong. It's very milky and fresh with a nice little twang. What a combination. 5 ingredients, just firing all of your taste buds. That's a great pasta right there.
What an utterly effortless grown-up pasta dish, bursting with exciting, bold flavours. Don't just watch it, try it. Time for my Sicilian tuna pasta. A simple way to ramp up a midweek family favourite.
We're going to do a beautiful 5-ingredient pasta, celebrating a part of Italy that I just love so much, Sicily.
For fantastic flavour, get some sustainable tuna. Dried pasta shells, baby capers, dried oregano, and gorgeous ripe cherry tomatoes. This, my friends, is a winner of a dish. And literally, in the time it takes to cook the pasta, it's all done and you're ready to rock and roll. So first up, beautiful pasta into some salted boiling water. I'm using pasta shells here. Of course, you can use any pasta you love. 300 grams of pasta goes in. Make sure you season the water. Lid back on, and I just put the spoon slightly ajar so it doesn't boil over. Now, I want 4 big teaspoons of these capers. Let's have a little look at these. In Sicily, they absolutely treasure capers. They use them in so many ways. They make sauces, salsas, stuffings, pastas. They flavour oils, and they're so perfumed, and they come from a beautiful little plant that has amazing flowers. You use them right, they're extraordinary. Right, I'll grab a pan, and I'm going to do something different with this recipe to really get it going. The pan's heating up, medium-high heat. And here we have the tuna. Now, you can get tuna in tins, nothing wrong with it, but the stuff in jars is normally a bit better, and you normally have a better quality fish, and the oil is decent in here as well.
So for a quick flavour hit, pour a tablespoon of the oil from the tuna into the pan.
Then I'm going to go in with these capers, right? And they're going to crispen up and kind of open out like that. So we're creating texture, but also these capers are going to flavour the oil. Delicious. So we'll let these just fry. Have a little look in there. They're just going beautifully crisp, and they've sort of popped. Gorgeous. And while that's happening, we can then prep our tomatoes. Now look at these, right? You can use any tomatoes you like, but by getting them on the vine, they will taste better, for sure. You can also get them ripe, so they're really juicy and delicious.
Once the tomatoes are off the vine, you can cut them in halves or quarters.
And to be honest, if you're feeling like in a rush or lazy, just scrunch them with your bare hands and go completely old school.
When the capers are nice and crispy, scoop most of them out and put aside for later.
Look at that, amazing. And what that's done is taken something soft and made it crispy, and it's perfumed the oil that we're going to fry our tomatoes in.
Then throw a handful of tomatoes into the pan, and it's time for a bit of Sicilian seasoning.
In this lovely oil here, just scrunch the oregano, and it will literally just rain that herb into there.
Flowering oregano will take this dish to another level. But if you can't find it, the regular dried stuff will do the job too.
Oh, the smell, and as soon as it hits the heat, it's like a completely different ball game. So we want to just very lightly cook these tomatoes. Give it a nice little toss. Look at the colours, look at that. Really, really nice. So we can now go in with the tuna, make sure it's MSC approved. And look, you can see the kind of nicer tuna is more of a kind of beautiful chunk that we can then flake. And you can break it up small or big, there's no right or wrong. All I would do now is just nick a bit of that starchy water, and that will blend with the fat from the tuna and just pull a bit more flavour out of that tuna as well.
Once the pasta's done, drain and add to the sauce in the pan.
And of course, being seashell shape, what's fantastic about it is it's got that little cup that will trap the cherry vine tomatoes, the sauce. What you want to do is just give it a good old toss. You can use spoons if you want. It just dresses that pasta in the most beautiful way. But have a taste. Does it need salt and pepper? Does it need a little tweak? And look at that. What a dinner. So quick, so easy, so full of life. Look at the juices. And they're filling up all those lovely little shells. And then get those beautiful capers and just sprinkle them. And a little shaky. Get everyone around the table, get them there with the forks in hand. A beautiful, humble, gorgeous pasta. Very fast and full of colour. Look at that. Let's get in there. That beautiful little mouthful, a little shell, full of tomato, full of capers, all the juices. Right, enough talking, in the gob. Big flavour, big, juicy flavour.
Keeping it short, sweet and to the point, and focusing on those little points, like crispening up the capers, the quick cook on the tomatoes so you're not making it frumpy, but kind of full of life. Really, really nice. Boy, that's good.
My pimped up Sicilian tuna pasta. A super simple way to turn a regular dish into an elegant family feast. This rosé pesto prawn pasta is a simple showstopper. Perfect for when you want to impress someone special in a flash.
It's an absolute stunner of a dish. I know you're going to love it.
The flavours of this dish come from sustainable king prawns, fresh garlic, red pesto, rosé wine, and dried tagliarini pasta.
We're going to make a really delicious pasta. This is going to be cool, guys. And it's quick. If I'm hungry, I can rattle this out in like 10 minutes, okay? And you can too. So, I've got lovely tagliarini. You can use spaghetti, whatever makes you happy, but these elegant, delicate noodles are really, really nice. Get your pan on, salted boiling water there, and then we're going to use prawns. Beautiful, MSC approved, shell-on prawns, and I'm going to show you fast track to maximum flavour. We're not mucking about. You're going to love it. The next ingredient that's going to bring this little party together is pesto. This red one has got pecorino, parmesan, nuts, olive oil. It's got sun-dried tomatoes. There's a lot of flavours in there. Oh, my Lord. With garlic, it's looking good, right?
Finally, I want a cheeky bottle of chilled light rosé wine.
And a frozen glass, right? Because it makes me feel like I'm on holiday. Okay, so first, a little drink for the cook. Delicious. It feels like summertime, and I want that in this dish.
Peel and slice 4 cloves of garlic, and we're all set.
You are going to feel the love. Get yourself a nice big pan, high heat, put that on. Get 300 grams of prawns out, and I'm going to show you a little trick. I want 4 prawns where I'm going to leave the heads and tails on, but I want to remove the central part of the shell. Keep the head on, keep the tail on, and the middle, just pinch it off, just like that.
Now, simply slice down the back and remove the vein. This technique is called butterflying, and it will speed up the cooking, grab hold of that delicious sauce, and make it look superb.
So look, you've prepped these 4, and here, for the other prawns, is the next little trick. Because the most valuable part of this dish is the prawn heads. Yeah, you heard it, prawn heads. It's where the flavour is.
So saving the bodies for later, remove the heads from the rest of your prawns.
In there is deep, incredible flavour. It's sweet, it's delicious, and it tastes of the sea. So look, there's the heads. We're going to treasure those. They go into our pan with our 4 prepped butterfly prawns, right? Some olive oil, and it'll start to fry. You'll see that blue raw prawn go pink. It's like magic, it's incredible.
Peel the shells off the remaining prawns and simply chop them up.
What we want is little bits of this prawn to stick to the pasta. So run your knife through it, and then we're going to go in with our prawns and the garlic. And garlic and prawns don't need any time to cook. It's so fast. At this point in the game, we're nearly there. Like, literally, we're nearly there. Let's have a little wash up. So we're going to get our pasta. 150 grams of pasta. This takes 4 minutes. In it goes. The smell now is amazing. And look at the head here. Squash it. That is gold dust. Look, gold dust. Now, we're going to go in with 2 heaped teaspoons of the pesto. And you can hear that. It's hot, it's colourful, it's getting complex. There's a lot of deep flavour here. Then we go in with about half a glass of wine.
Let the rosé bubble and reduce for 1 minute.
Just give it a little toss. We're kind of ready and raring to go. Use tongs and just drag our pasta in. We're done, guys, we're done. So beautiful. It smells amazing. Off the heat, taste it. I'm going to hit it with a little black pepper, just for a little kick. And that, my friends, is a beautiful, Beautiful pasta. Elegant. One final little flourish of extra virgin olive oil and a dusting of that black pepper. That is a fast and furious fun dish with deep flavour. Enough talking, let's eat it. You've got the garlic, you've got the pesto, beautiful wine. You know, when you kind of get your fork in there, you get little bits of prawn trapped in the pasta. Really, really nice tip to sort of chop those prawns up. But of course, then you get the big old chunk as well that you can attack with your fingers. Once you've had a go, you'll be hooked. 5 ingredients, working really, really hard.
Sexy prawn pasta for 2. Super quick to make and guaranteed to earn big brownie points. Now for my fast and fiery aubergine penne arrabbiata. A quick veggie pasta, the perfect grub for the end of a busy day.
In this recipe, I'm going to extract the very best of chili flavour. And it's not just heat, there's fruit and there's kind of warmth that it can give you, and it makes you feel really cosy. I want that in this dish.
Using fresh chilies, large firm aubergines, garlic, tinned plum tomatoes, and dried whole wheat pasta.
I love clever ways of using chili in a dish, and this dish is centred around chili. The beginning of this recipe actually starts with making yourself a condiment that will sit in your fridge. I'm going to put, a nice amount of olive oil into a jar. This is the jar I'm going to store it in, but I'm going to put all this oil in the pan, so that's heating up. I'm going to go to my chilies. I'm going to take the little tops off, like that. And then most of the heat is kept inside the chili. So scrape the membrane and the little seeds here, leaving you with the actual fruit. I'm going to take it and I'm going to put it into this oil. And what that's going to do is cook the chili, make it tender, but it's going to bring out much warmer, gentler notes. You want to make it an inclusive dish. You don't want to do it so hot that everyone's like going nuts, right? So now these chilies are looking quite good. Add them to a little jam jar, like this. Delicious. You can use it in soups, in stews, and risottos. And I'll pour the oil in there as well. Make sure the jar's a heat-proof jar. I'll leave about 3 or 4, and then we're good. Now, aubergine. I want to make it soft and silky and golden and meaty and delicious.
First off, half them and get them into boiling water.
Season with salt, and we're just going to give it 5 minutes. What you'll end up with is lovely, creamy internal flesh, and that skin that's currently not edible will become edible. We're going to take the aubergines out. With this, you've got nice soft flesh, and I'm literally just going to hack them up into sort of inch chunks. We'll turn the heat up now to medium, medium-high. Beautiful. Toss it in that beautiful, warm, gorgeous chili oil. Always shake it flat because we want to get colour on that skin and the inside of the aubergines. Season with salt and a little pepper. Let's get in with the pasta. 300 grams of your whole wheat pasta goes in. This takes about 9 minutes to cook.
Then, for a lovely robust flavour, simply slice up 4 garlic cloves.
Nice and fine. I'll add that to the pan because it's doing quite nicely now. So the last piece of the story is the tomatoes. By trading up to the plum tomatoes, you'll always get an A-grade tomato. What I like to do then is just crush it in my hand, but I don't want to wear it, so I am standing at a distance. Get a nice little pulp, and it smells incredible. As soon as that garlic's taken on a little bit of colour, go in with the tomatoes. Steal a bit of the cooking water to clean out the tin, and then use that to clean out our little bowl here. And it just helps you achieve that consistency that you want.
Half a tin of pasta water will do the trick.
The sauce is pretty much done now. We'll bring that to the boil. We'll season it up. Pasta's ready. and then into the sauce it goes, and then a nice little toss up. Hot and steamy in temperature and flavour. Right, let's plate up. Really nice. Pimp this up a little bit. You can just take a little bit of this, slice it up. It's so soft and tender. Lay it over a little chili oil. And that, my friends, is a beautiful thing. Mmm. The aubergines are really good. It's just that wonderful balance between sort of the sweetness of tomato and heat that's so good. And it just makes you feel good. It gets your endorphins going. It actually gets you sort of picked up.
A spicy little veggie pasta for days when you can't be doing with complicated cooking.
So we're gonna do a beautiful recipe. This is like the coolest little thing to do with prawns.
You'll need fresh king prawns, garlic, limes, curry powder, and sweet mango chutney.
It's an amazing process and recipe that gives you texture, crunch, softness, sweet, sour, spice. It's really, really good. So, big pan. Let's whack that on a medium-high heat. We're going to be bigging up prawns, of course. So, we've got 300 grams of prawns here. These are absolutely delicious. They're fresh. You can see by the beautiful blue colour. I love this size. Really, really nice. I find it gives you the best kind of sweet flavour. They've got all their shells on. And I always look for the MSC approved accreditation so they're sustainable, right? So 300 grams of prawns. What I want to do is make it easy to pick it up and eat it. Most of the flavour is in the head. So I'm just going to peel the prawn all the way down to the tail. And you can leave the tail on as well. Now, by peeling this prawn, we can do a couple of other things as well. One is remove the little vein from down here. And you can do that easily by just running a knife carefully down the back of a prawn. It's very, very simple. And if you put that tip in, you'll pull out this little vein like that, and you can just lose that. But also, by running the knife down there, you're allowing this prawn to butterfly. And what that means is just to open up like a butterfly.
This is a stunning way to prep your prawns and a great tip to help them take on added flavour in the pan.
Okay, so we are all done. Garlic, we're going to use quite a bit of, actually. We're going to use 6 cloves of garlic, which for 2 people, you know, that's kind of cracking on a lot, but we're going to make them sweet and delicious, so it's not going to be garlicky, sort of in a pungent, horrible way. We're going to flavour the oil to cook the prawns in, and we're going to make them like little crisps, like literally, like crisps. Try and slice the garlic the same thickness. If you don't, then you won't get that lovely, even cook, so they're all crispy, crunchy. So a bit of love goes a long way. So the garlic is done. Then I'm going to be using a couple of little condiments that make this dish. First one is a good curry powder, a really nice blend of all those spices, right? Each kind of curry powder varies. Pick one that you like. They're in all the supermarkets. Then the star of the show, as well as the prawns, of course, a nice mango chutney, because you get so many layers of flavour. You get a real bang for your buck, but most importantly, you get that glaze and that sort of sweetness that riffs off the spice and off the garlic that's going to be amazing. So in a pan, I'm going to add a tablespoon of oil, and then I'm going to go in with the garlic. If you angle the pan like this, you almost create like a little mini deep fat fryer. Garlic's very sensitive, it's got natural sugars in there, and I want to fry them until they're crisp and golden. If you make them kind of go black, they'll go slightly bitter. So these are looking really good. So all the garlic's out. Now we turn the heat up, and we've got this gorgeous garlicky oil. So we go in with a teaspoon of curry powder. Just move the oil into that curry powder, and it'll just start to toast and go beautiful. Then we can go in with our prawns. And they'll go from that amazing blue colour of the raw prawn, and as the heat penetrates it, you know, it'll start turning that amazing pink, and where you've butterflied it, it'll start to transform. Here we go, look at those colours, woohoo! So that garlic oil is infusing with the curry powder, and don't forget we've got loads of flavour in those prawn heads. There, look, there, oh yes. And they're basically done now. You don't need to overcook prawns at all. We're going to go in with one nice big spoon of mango chutney. So now the mango's in there. This is kind of the sizzle time, right? It's going to glaze it, it's going to shine, and then onto the plate we go. Some of that lovely juice just in the middle. And then we get those beautiful garlic chips and we just sprinkle those in and around. Then our last ingredient is lime. So little strokes of the lime zest makes all the difference. Then we can simply just slice that into a little wedge, a fantastic little sizzle plate. It will be impossible to not want to get stuck into that. Lime juice over the top. Don't be polite about it. Get in there. Oh yeah, absolutely delicious. The crunch of the garlic was totally worth it. Every now and again, you get a little chunk of mango. The prawns in all of that just work really well. You've still got the sweetness, they're perfectly cooked. Fresh, zingy, sweet and sour, hot and sizzling. I love it.
Quick to prep and ridiculously tasty. My lip-smacking sticky mango prawns, a pleasure to cook and a joy to share. Next up, my one-pan fabulous fish. A speedy supper that guarantees perfect rice every time.
I'm gonna make a fantastic tray bake or pan dish. 1 pan, 5 ingredients, brilliant combo.
Using whitefish fillets, basmati rice, green olive tapenade, cherry tomatoes, and fragrant fresh basil.
Everyone needs a great 1 pan dish up their sleeve, and this, my friends, is a cracker. It's super healthy. I'm using some beautiful haddock here, but you could use any lovely white fish. And I always look for the MSC approved accreditation so they're sustainable, right? So I've got 2 chunks. So this method is brilliant. We're gonna use a casserole style pan. It's all gonna cook in here. So put the heat on. We're gonna use 300 grams of basmati rice, which is about a mug's worth. A little pinch of salt, basic seasoning, very important. Then I'm gonna top it up with 600 mils of cold water. Straight in the pan. You wanna let it just boil for 4 minutes, okay? And by then, the rice will have started to swell, and that's when we add our fish. And then I wanna add some tapenade. So it's basically minced or chopped black or green olives. I've got green olive here. Just get 2 heaped teaspoons and just stir that through the rice. So that's a really nice basic seasoning. We're gonna give it 4 minutes, then we'll add the fish. We want 4 clear portions like that. Fantastic. Now, I've got 350 grams of cherry tomatoes. You could use any tomatoes you like, but if you have a look down the markets or supermarkets now, you'll see they're selling all kinds of wonderful colours and shapes. They're just so pretty.
This is a totally stress-free supper. No tricky techniques, simply slice your tomatoes in half.
We're gonna dress this with a pinch of salt and pepper, and I'm gonna go in with a tablespoon each of olive oil and vinegar, and then basil. Get yourself about 8 sprigs. What I'm doing is just picking the pretty little leaves of basil and putting that to one side, and then the bigger leaves go into my salad. And then once I've got that, I'm gonna just grab the basil like this and have a little tear up, and then a little toss up. So what this is gonna do is season, flavour, and draw out the natural moisture in those gorgeous tomatoes. This rice has had 4 minutes, so I'm gonna take these beautiful fillets and I'm gonna just snuffle them in there, and I'm gonna sprinkle all those lovely herbs and tomatoes in and around, and then look at all those juices. Pour all those in. This is all flavour. And the rice is gonna protect the fish. It will also absorb the flavour from the fish, and everything's gonna share.
Let that chug along for 10 minutes on a medium-high heat. Cooking everything in 1 pan boosts flavour and guarantees perfect rice and delicate fish.
So let's have a look. Very nice. So let's try the rice. Okay, it's cooked. The last remnants of water is going, and you can see how the tomatoes have just kind of given up all their beautiful flavour. So let's turn that off now. I can hear it just crackling. Few of those lovely little basil leaves on top, little drizzle of extra virgin olive oil, and a little teaspoon of tapenade just to go down that little gully. This is real comfort food, but it also takes the fear out of 2 things. I still think there's a lot of people out there that are frightened to cook fish and rice. This solves both, and 1 thing to wash up to feed 4 people, joy. So let's have a little look at the fish. Lovely, juicy flakes of fish. And of course, we're cooking it in that fantastic moist environment, right? But it's sucking up the flavour from the tomatoes and from the tapenade. The flavour is massive. Sweetness, saltiness, oh, it's just delicious. And it's the quickest little dinner ever. It's 5 ingredients in a pan. 15 minutes later, you got not just food, but a feast. It is delicious.
My perfect 1 pan fish, easy cooking to make you really happy at the end of a busy day. Next up, my stupidly simple crispy squid and smashed avocado. A sexy starter for sharing that you can rattle out in minutes.
It's a great, great combo. People go nuts for this.
You'll need fresh squid, wholemeal flour, hot chili sauce, avocado, and fresh limes.
I want to show you how to make something that I love to do at home as a starter or as a nice little sort of nibble on a lovely summer's day, glass of wine, really civilised but good flavours. So first up, about 1 centimetre, just over, of olive oil. I'm going to heat that up on a medium-high heat. So that's doing its thing.
Next up, 250 grams of squid. And for extra texture, use the tentacles and all.
So I'm going to line up the squid and just cut it into centimetre slices, like so. I think people are quite scared to cook squid at home. So clearly there's like a little worry about how do you do it? You know, is it complicated? So let's kind of go for it because it is a wonderful little treat to master. So squid goes in. We're going to add whole wheat flour, handful, couple of tablespoons, and we're just going to toss that around and it will immediately stick to it. So that's your coating. So when you're tossing these up, just make sure you open up the little squid, you know, so you can get the flour in there. And if you want to add more, then feel free to add a little bit more flour and just make it light and covered and fantastic. So look at that. Legs, tube, frills. Nice.
Get your oil nice and hot, then pop a piece of squid in as a test. When it turns golden, it's time to get your squids in.
So that's frying quite nicely. And we're going to go straight in to our oil.
This is a super speedy way to cook, but always take care when you're frying.
So we're going to cook this for about 3 to 4 minutes until really crispy and golden. So that's the perfect amount of time to make our smashed avocado. It couldn't be simpler.
Just halve it, stone it, and peel.
Grab a fork and I'll just give it a nice little mash up. Let's season this up. So we want double flavour out of this line. Get a fine little grater. We want the zest. And there's so much flavour in the zest. In with the lime juice. Look at that. You want it to have that kind of attack. A little pinch of salt and pepper. Give it a good old mix. Delicious. I'm going to do this as a share plate. I'm going to take our lovely smash here to just use the back of the spoon just to sort of give it a little smudge around like that. So this is looking really good now.
In just a few minutes, your squid will be golden and crispy. A stunning seafood starter or sharing plate ready in no time.
Look at the colour, guys. Look at the colour. Then just give it a little season with sea salt. Give it a little jiggle about to get rid of that excess oil. And then just make your stack of squid, legs, frilly bits. Look at that. A couple of pieces of the lime. And then good old chili sauce. Give it a nice little drizzle around. And there you have it. Crispy squid, smashed avo. What a joy. So come on, let's make a mess. Let's get in there. Chili sauce. Oh. So good. Quite like getting the little rings and just kind of filling it up with the avocado. A proper little classic, 5 ingredients and glorious.
My souped up crispy squid and lime smashed avocado. No fuss food that's a pleasure to make and an irresistible treat to share. First up, my supercharged sesame seared tuna with a cheeky hack for an instant Asian flavour punch. A joyful dish that's unbelievably quick and ridiculously easy.
So we're going to do a beautiful seared sesame tuna. It takes less than 10 minutes to cook. It's really healthy. You're going to love it.
Using fresh tuna steaks, Japanese miso paste, sesame seeds, spring onions, and crunchy sugar snap peas.
So let's put those 5 things together in the most beautiful way. Let me show you our tuna here. When it's kind of shiny and clear and rosy red, you know it's worth buying. Stick to yellowfin or skipjack tuna. They're much more sustainable. Look for the MSC certified approval, which is really, really important. Absolutely beautiful. Now, we're going to encrust that with sesame seeds. It's going to give you the most amazing texture, crunch, flavour. It's really, really good. But to stick that to that, we need a nice little surprise ingredient that you might not have used before, miso. You can get it in all the supermarkets, and this is a fermented bean product. You get this amazing sort of big, meaty, savoury, salty flavour. It's really useful to season the fish and let the sesame seeds stick to it. It couldn't be any simpler. Get yourself a nice heaped tablespoon of the miso and just divide it onto the 2 chunks of fish.
Miso paste gives an instant hit of Asian umami flavour. Simply slather it on all sides of the steak.
Now what I want to do is get the sesame seeds and just sprinkle those on a little board, like that. And we'll take our tuna steak and then just plop it on. Just shake it like that. And essentially what we've done is we've created almost like a breadcrumb topping, but with sesame seeds. Look at that. Couldn't be easier. A great trick to learn. And look at that, it looks cool, it will taste cool, it protects the fish, it flavours the fish. 3 ingredients working really hard, and 1.5 minutes on each side, super quick cooking. So, pan, medium heat, tablespoon of olive oil, and just lay that tuna in the pan. Just press the steaks a little bit to make it really flat.
While the tuna sears, it's time to prep your veg.
Slice the spring onions at an angle, about the same length as the sugar snap peas. And if you kind of look at this, guys, it's kind of the same size, right? You've got lovely, sweet sugar snap peas and a little slice of spring onion. Beautiful. Take a little look at these steaks. And for me, the genius of this dish is by the time the sesame seeds are golden, the fish is blushing and perfectly cooked inside. You can see the little bits where the miso's just caught a little bit and caramelised. We always presume that tuna has to be cooked all the way through. Fresh tuna's a different game, right? You're supposed to cook it almost like, you know, lamb or steak. You know, leave some blush in there, some red, and then that way it's incredibly elegant.
This really is quick-fire cooking. With the tuna steak cooked to perfection, let it rest for a couple of minutes while you flash fry the veg.
Turn the gas up and we go straight in with the sugar snap peas and the spring onions. There's hardly any oil in that pan, okay? So it's going to kind of scald and char a little bit, and you're going to see like the little thin layer of the sugar snap peas sort of bubble up a bit and kind of just take on colour, and it'll be so sweet on the inside. So it's a lovely way to cook because it feels smoky and sweet. And these just need literally 2 minutes in a pan. And as it heats up the sugar snap, it kind of like swirls up with steam. A little pinch of salt, and then just a little bit of vinegar, tiny bit. And it'll cook away. And it just gives it that little element of, like, on the back of the mouth that works really, really well. Gorgeous. Go back to our lovely little steaks here. I'm going to slice them across, about 1 centimetre thick. You've got that contrast of the crispy golden top with the light, delicate tuna. So I'm just going to lay that over the veggies. Lovely bit of extra virgin olive oil. Come on. Let's have a little try. Oh, yeah. It's so good. So quick, so healthy, and something a little bit different. Delicious.
A supercharged 10-minute meal for days when life's too busy for complicated cooking.